entertain a motion to open the public hearing for RD10 building code amendment proposal here. So, second on that? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. We need to hold a brief attorney-client meeting, and we'll return in a few moments. Attorney wants to just give us an update. Be right back. Yes. Justin.
All right, I'll make that motion for an executive session for attorney-client.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll be right back. A motion to resume the public hearing. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, town clerk, can we have the first speaker, please? And when you get up there, just your name and address, please. And try to hold it to 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. Amy Hardesty, 39 Liberty Way. Well, heard me over and over again on this issue. I'd like to point out that this is not the first public hearing on this issue, and that the community has unanimously spoken out against this RD10 law change. Not one Unionville resident has spoken in favor of the change. I've also read your report from the consultant on land use. With all due respect to the consultant, she has zero experience with events. I've been a professional wedding and event planner for over 14 years, and I'd really like to ask this committee, as I stand here as a 14-year wedding and event planning professional, why her professional opinion of land use has been more valuable and more taken into consideration than my professional experience of the impacts of an event venue on a residential area. In your emails, Mr. Supervisor, because we did foil them, you stated the need for an environmental analysis before this moved forward. I have not seen nor heard of an environmental analysis being done at all on the property at Top Roseville Road, which has been undisputed the reason that this entire process has taken place. Councilmember John Welsh said during the last public hearing that he couldn't find anything in the master plan that aligned with this issue. It seems to me that the small subset of this committee has underlying reasons to push this through with disregard for public comment. The rewritten code, as you rewrote it, is still contradictory to the town noise ordinance, and it's just bad code. Again, it's been undisputed that this law change is the result of a developer's wish to utilize the lot at Top Roseville Road, which is 80 acres in size. You are not amending this law to change from conference center to catering facility. You've reduced the acreage requirement for all the special uses currently under this law, and you've ensured that the new proposal is just below the 80-acre size to spot zone this lot for a private benefit of a private developer. I'd like to believe that this committee has a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers of this community. To my knowledge, there has been no petition by any specific developer to move this forward, and that every public hearing, the legal fees, the consulting fees have come from taxpayer dollars. I don't believe that any of this has a public benefit whatsoever and is strictly a private benefit to a very small set of people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, nice to see you again. I'm sorry that we're here still. We represent Amy and Hans Rettel, who you've heard from several times now over the course of these meetings. So I'm not going to, Amy says it very well, the arguments that she presented to you a moment ago. I'm going to state it very clearly. This law has no place in the town of Unionville. We all know why we're here. It's for a single developer. I'll give you a preview of the lawsuit that we're going to file if you pass this law. The amendment targets one parcel and one parcel only. We know there were meetings with Mr. Fiscaldo and members of the board. We're going to take your depositions during the lawsuit and find out exactly what was said and why. That makes it a private benefit, not a public benefit. The law is very arbitrary. As Amy pointed out, we were here last time. We were looking at a 50-acre parcel. Now we're talking about 75. It's completely arbitrary. That's the only change you made. It's also very hard to tell what other changes might have been made. I was hopeful that we'd have a side-by-side comparison of the laws. That may have been posted, I couldn't find it. It's not consistent with the comprehensive. I read the comprehensive plan. I read the letter from your consultant. Your comprehensive plan talks about preserving the rural character of the community, and this commercial activity clearly does not fit in with the comprehensive plan. What you should do is hit the pause button on this and review your comprehensive plan, which hasn't been looked at since 2002. It's clearly time for a review. You can address that, and where there might be changes required, including a rezoning to allow hospitality, you can do it in the appropriate zones, not a residential zone, not a quiet rural residential zone like Brudsville Road. I assume that there will be a long form submitted, and seeker review, I know, will be conducted. We'll be participating in that as well. I know there'll be different opportunities for hearings, so we'll be back again. This can all be avoided if you stop what you're doing and let the public participate in a comprehensive plan review. I haven't heard one. Maybe tonight we'll hear someone, but I've been at these meetings, and other than the developer, we haven't heard from one person who's actually in favor of this. The last meeting was overwhelming opposition to the project. I think that the board would be well served to listen to its constituents and not cater to the needs of one individual private interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your name and address when you get up there, please, sir.
My name's John Wynn. I live 84 Traver Road. It's in the town of LaGrange. I just would like to say that I would like to see the facility go into place. I think as there's not really any facilities that I believe that this would be proposed in, in the area. I think it would be good for the community to provide jobs through the, not only through the development process, but also when it's established for the catering and full-time staff, part-time staff. The venues would increase the tax revenue. I think that would be a good thing for the town, and it would be nice to have an area, a facility of this nature that's close to people. Right now, people have to go into Poughkeepsie or wherever else to have a function, and it'd be nice to have a place that's nearby. Thank you. That's about
Yep. Thank you. I don't think anybody heard you.
I still hate public speaking, by the way, so I'm not happy I'm back. I just want to point out, we still haven't heard any residents.
Name and address, please.
Sure, at 39 Liberty Way, Hans Hardesty. We still haven't heard any residents and taxpayers of Unionville speak in favor of this, just to point that out. I would like to point out two more things. This may not raise revenue because I actually want to resubmit, because we did foil, this letter from the KW residential team that said that this is going to lower everybody's residential property values in the area. They give all the reasons why, and I'm going to resubmit that. So I don't think this is going to raise revenue. In addition, I don't think that this is just going to be for local town people to enjoy. It's not going to be open to them. And it's not like they're going to go to Poughkeepsie. This is like Brooklyn and out of town weddings that are be coming into our backyard every single weekend. This is not local like this. We heard from the event planner. This is not going to be like local yokel stuff happening. They're not going to know about our burn bans. They're not going to know about our regulations. They're not going to care about our noise ordinance. It's not going to be like that. And I would just like to point out again that there were real concerns, numerous concerns in person and in writing, and this modest change does not address them. We still will have the quiet enjoyment of our properties affected. We will still have loud noises after our noise ordinance. We will still have light pollution, traffic issues, delivery trucks, the decline of property values. We will have a burden on our police and fire. We will have drunk driving on an overly dangerous road, and all the other reasons that our neighbors have been here and spoke up against this. So I'm just pointing out that this modest change does not address those. It still has been spoken up about by numerous residents, and we're still not in favor of it. And I'd like to say that the council members did point out at the last meeting that they could not find a way that this fit into the master plan. I think that you live here, you were elected. I think that you should have an opinion more than somebody, with all due respect, outside of our area and that was hired to write a letter. I would also like to point out this is being paid for by taxpayers and by us, not by a bond or not by somebody that put money in escrow. From what I understand, this is being paid out of our money, our taxpayer dollars, and it shouldn't have been. Finally, for residents of Unionville, we invested in a residential home, knowing that a use like this would not be next door. The zoning, we knew the master plan, we put our money and our investment into the town of Unionville, not Brook. I'd like to urge you, as the attorney said, to review this master plan more comprehensively and listen to the residents and your constituents. Most importantly, I'd urge you to follow the law. Thank you.
Thank you.
Name is Joe Fiscaldo, 155 Davis Road. I am the developer looking to develop the property. After listening to some of the intense statements, I'm not going to go back. We've talked about this before. We are proposing simply a 6,000 square foot facility on an 80-acre property. That's going to be a barn. Property values are not going to be affected by it. Noise ordinances will be adhered to. State-of-the-art construction techniques to keep the noise inside will be taken care of. It will be for events only and open to the town for larger events. Okay. We cannot speak for people driving drunk. That's an illegal activity. That's a police matter. That's not something that we should do. And as far as overwhelming opposition, I'm looking around the room and I see a dozen people out of a town that has thousands. Okay, and I'm not even sure if everybody's here to oppose it. We want to keep it a farm. We want to keep it a barn. We want to keep growth on the property. It will have the least impact of anything you could do on an 80-acre farm. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sorry? Yeah, that's just going to open up to the public here, sure.
My name is Diana Lenz, resident. My kids' house is here. I am definitely for the project. I used to ride my horses across the street from this property. Now it's developed. I used to, development happens. I would much rather see a beautiful barn that's going to house joyous events than a million houses and people moving up from God knows where. I think it's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Name and address when you get up there, please.
Pittman, 1912 Brosgo Road. I am not in favor of this at all. There are many things on the zoning regulations that are allowed. Why the conference center is on there, I don't know. I think as a board, you should be getting eliminating that instead of trying to change a conference center for a wedding venue. It's going to be the same kind of problems, and we wouldn't be here having these meetings if it was a conference center that was being proposed there. The thing that I do not understand is how, if you look through the zoning regulations, everything, nearly everything that the wedding venue encompasses is not permitted in the zoning. For example, no bar or tavern. I believe you're going to be going to the bar, the open bar. Um, no catering facility or banquet hall, no coffee shops or tea rooms, no commercial amusement entertainment, no delicatessen, no diner or luncheonette, no hotel or motel, no nightclub, no, not even an office building, no personal service business, no restaurant. You know, it goes on, and I don't understand how, oh, we're gonna put a wedding venue and it's gonna be great. I think there's other ways that the town can raise some money for taxes. Having if it's already 10 and it's 80 acres, that's 8 houses. 8 houses would be much preferred over a venue that I live on Brusco Road. If you don't live on, know how dangerous that road is day in and day out. I don't care what you say. If you don't live there, you don't know. It's dangerous. I windows open. That's one of the reasons why I live here. I don't like having air conditioning on all the time. I hear the peepers and I like to hear the owls. I like to hear what's going on. The traffic on County Route or 21 Brosville Road, it's loud. It can wake me up in the middle of the night rushing down that road. And it's loud because the noise travels through that area like you just can't even believe. And as far as laws and ordinance and rules go, they're only good as what people will follow. I'm a high school teacher. You can have all the rules you
Okay,
want,
wrap it up,
but
please.
they're not going to follow them. So, fireworks, can't have noise outside. Laws are only as good as what people will follow. And we're going to be spending a lot of money as a town going over there, policing that place because it's a celebration. It should be a
Need you to
joyous
wrap it up,
occasion.
please.
Okay, I'll
Thank
wait now.
Anyone else?
Okay, 11 Bristol Road. Right down from Liberty Way, and I can't say anything but. All I'll say is, if you guys live next to that. 10 years, it's not. Yeah. Got to deal with either drunk people or whatever, so I'm sorry. I disrespect. That is across from your house, you wouldn't want it either. I voted for probably all you guys. Maybe you came to my house personally, not from my door. I asked you to respect me and take consideration. That against this. I don't like where it's going. It's happening. So I'm saying.
Thank you. Anyone else? One more time, anyone else would like to speak? Okay, I will move that we continue this public hearing at our June 4th meetings, beginning at 7 PM. Motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so this public hearing will continue on June 4th. Okay, I'd like to call the May 21st Unionville Business Meeting to order. We'll start with a salute to the flag, and I ask that everybody remain standing when we finish the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, last week we had a senior citizen here of the town pass. I wanted to acknowledge him. Name was Al Polzel. Those of you that live near Skyacres Airport may have seen him out with his walking sticks. He was very active right up until the night he passed. Like to have a moment of silence for him, please. Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm sorry. I should have mentioned that. 102 years old. We also lost Rich Albrecht this past week. Very active member of the community. He was instrumental in the layout of Timor Park and the creation of our equestrian center. I was going to put a few words together, but our current director of the equestrian center sent me these notes, and they're far better than what I had done. We're all saddened to hear about the passing of Rich Albrecht. It's hard to believe I spoke with him as recently as a week ago. As a director of the Timor Equestrian Center, I mostly knew Rich as a big supporter and friend to our Timor Equestrian Center, an organizer of the Timor Annual Horse Pull, which is held every June for the past 30 years. For more years than I can remember, Rich and his wife Betty attended and cheered on all horse events at the Equestrian Center. Rich would make decor items out of welded horseshoes, which I could auction off to the benefit of the Equestrian Center. But it was much more than that. It was the maintenance, the improvements, the time, the advice and friendship, the smiles that made Rich so appreciated by me and many others. Rich knew and shared our town history. He made this place his home and raised his beautiful daughters here. In 2021, on behalf of Timor Equestrian Center and the town of Unionville, we presented him with a plaque honoring Rich for his 25 years of community service. I'll add that he has continued that service since then. I understand he cherished that plaque and would often show his friends. I'm sure Rich had many passions, but one of those was sport of horse pulling, for which he was a frequent announcer and organizer. As a horse pull announcer, Rich would often instruct his work team after each round to load the boat, which means to add more weight to the pull sled. Well, let's load the boat with many prayers for the many blessings Rich gave us all. Rest in peace, Rich. You'll be missed. Just like a moment of silence in his behalf. Thank you very much. Okay, I have a motion to approve the minutes
416.
of 4:16, please.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried, thank you. I have spent the past couple weeks researching this and future meeting items. Actually keeps pretty busy doing that. I did contact New York DOT about the Burbank stretch of 82. They replied that they would send a maintenance crew out there to make temporary repairs.
That's what they've been doing for 40 years.
Yeah, well, they do have it under consideration for paving apparently as well.
Thank you.
And our constable / code enforcement vehicle is being outfitted with the equipment and should be able to put that in service fairly soon. Do town board reports. Councilman Derlin.
I don't have much to report this month. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Givney.
Much just touch on, what you spoke about earlier, with these horse polls. We have the, annual horse poll coming up on June 7th. Mark your calendars. If you guys never been to a horse poll, it's, great event. I always have a good time when I show up there. Our local Unionville Fire Department will be, offering up, refreshments and food. All proceeds of that will go to the community support fund, in the fire department. So I encourage everybody to mark their calendars, for their horse poll on June 7th. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that, Friends of the Albrecht family, pay special attention to the news upcoming, and we anticipate a special event at the upcoming horse poll. And we'll keep you posted on that. Councilman Welch.
Yeah, I just like to further comment about Richie. I was friends with him since he was in high school. He was one of our park managers for a period here. And he took it upon himself to build the large pavilion next to the pool. And he did that for a very, very inexpensive amount of money. He had his friends help him. He was a carpenter by trade, and it's an outstanding piece of work that he did, but he did a very good job managing the park. And he was a wonderful family man and resident of the town of Unionville.
Thank you. Kevin?
Yes, I've been out in the public talking to people all over town. The main concern with people right now is what is going on with the abolishment of the library. I've kept them informed as best I could without giving too much discussion about our lawsuit. It's not really something that we can talk too much about, other than let them know what is going on with it. I've also been going over the road schedule that Ed put out. I think it's an excellent idea. There has been some talk from people saying that they wanted to know what was being done with the roads because they had been told that work was not being done on our local roads. Nothing could be further from the truth. The roads have been upkept very well. We had a major work done recently on Blueberry, and we had work done on Brush Hill that we had a halt to move to Blueberry. Okay, so work is being done. It's just that some people may not be in those parts of town where that work is done. And other than that, most of the people in town are happy and they want our town to remain rural. They do not want to see any kind of industry come in. We have some people who have mentioned they wanted to bring more, quote, industry and business into the town. That didn't fly with the people that I spoke to. And we spoke to numerous people in the neighborhood of 70 to 80 households. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Good work.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Town clerk report, please.
You. Shredding day is fast approaching, scheduled for June 4th. Again, if you want to be on the call list when the truck arrives, as it's only present for 1 hour, just let my office know. We'd be happy to give you a call. The burn ban is officially lifted from DEC. We do not require burning permits in Unionville, but you just have to comply with the DEC regulations, which are on their website. Lastly, of course, the balloon passes that the chamber has generously offered to Unionville residents are for sale from my office. Cash or check to the Chamber Foundation is accepted, but we can't accept credit cards for that. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Highway Superintendent.
So started our spring mowing. And, in between mowing, we also are changing a bunch of culvert pipes on West Clove Mountain Road in preparation for paving that in 2026. We're bringing stone in now for oil and chip on the roads that are scheduled to be oil and chip sealed for this year. I've talked to the state several times on the intersection of Route 82 and Burbank Village Road. There are some brushy pine trees that are grown out in that road, and I'm sure the residents there know, but the bridge at the end of Burbank Road and South Road is being rebuilt this summer. So there's going to be all the traffic that would normally go out South Road is now going to Burbank Village Road to 82. So if you're a resident doing that, please be careful because sight distance to the north is minimal. I am trying to get the state to do something with it, and I've got no movement from the state. So,
They had a triple fatal there in 2009 for the same reason,
right.
poor visibility.
And I think there was an accident there last year as well.
Yes.
Same thing.
Mhm.
So it seems to be falling on deaf ears with the state, and I, I, I can't do anything with those trees because they're not
Right, they're
in our right of way.
Yep.
We do have the bids in for the salt shed. That's for a different discussion, but, I'm looking forward to that happening pretty soon. The Jennifer Hill project has turned into a little bit bigger project than we had anticipated. So that's up for a bid, I suppose, and some engineering. So that project may get pushed back to 2026. If so, then we'll take the funds that were slated for that project and probably instead of only paving half of North Parliament, we may do the whole thing. So that's pretty much all we got for this time around.
I did notice the guys have been out patching potholes.
You know,
Doing a good job at that too.
we're trying.
Big improvement. Thank you.
We're trying.
Okay, tax collector report?
Just want to say, Loretta, that was beautiful. Like, that was perfect saying it about Rich and Al. 102. We're going to be missing you guys. We love seeing you guys come in the town hall. You always brought a ray of sunshine to us here. The both of them. As for my tax season, today, I'm at 93%. On the end of April, we sent out 100 second notices. We have 68 more to go. I did submit our second payment to Dutchess County of 300,000. Now with only a week and a half left to May 31st, it's still a 4% penalty that we will collect online payments or in person. If you do mail them, please make sure that you have them hand stamped. I will be collecting them usually about a week and a half past June. Then I have to close it out and get everything to the county, and then it's out of our hands here. We do have at to date $9,217.90 in penalty money. Also, I just want to say to Ed and the crew, thank you guys. I've been around town also, as Kevin Harrington was saying, talking to residents, and the roads look fantastic. Clean up by the county. I know us with the fire department, we had to postpone it for a further date, but the county did a fantastic job cleaning up our roads. The equestrian center, I really do hope a lot of the residents come out to the horse pull. The fire department is serving breakfast and lunch again. It was a wonderful community event, which I think everybody would benefit coming out and hanging out with everybody and seeing some, as my dear friend Loretta would say, real horsepower. And then just again, thank you, board. This year has been a really good year. I loved how you all got along and meeting of the minds on everything. You guys talked it out. It's really been a great turnover since what we've seen in the past. And thank you, Steve, for keeping everybody happy here in the town hall. That's it.
Thank you. I didn't receive you know what? I'd gotten two from previous months. I didn't print them out, but I didn't receive one for this month on the animal control. I'll get them together for the next meeting. Brings us down to public comment on agenda items. Okay, I'm going to assume nobody wants to speak. Resolution 2025-41 is declaring town equipment surplus, and we've spoken about this previously. Councilman Welsh,
Sure.
would you like to introduce it, please?
Yes. Okay, resolution number 41 of 2025, declaring town equipment surplus and authorizing its sale at public auction. Whereas the town of Unionville currently owns old, worn out, and obsolete equipment that cannot be repaired or too costly to repair, but may have some salvage value. And whereas the town supervisor has declared the following equipment to no longer be useful for the town purposes and recommends that the surplus equipment be sold at public auction. 2015 Ford Explorer with VIN number listed. Second, brush hog model 276 brush mower, serial number listed. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth in the adopted herein. The Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby declares the aforementioned equipment to be surplus equipment and authorizes it to be sold at public auction to Absolute Auction and Realty Incorporated, 45 South Avenue, Pleasant Valley, New York, 12569. The surplus equipment shall be sold in as-is condition without warranty as to condition. The town supervisor is authorized but not required to set minimum bids for each surplus equipment. The town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute any and all documentation, including Department of Motor Vehicle forms and bill of sale necessary to transfer the 2015 Ford Explorer to the successful bidder. Proceeds from the sale of the surplus equipment shall be first used to pay any debt service that is outstanding for the items, and any balance that remains shall be paid to the general fund.
Have a second on that? Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Aye. Councilman Welsh.
Aye.
Supervisor Frazier.
Aye.
Councilman McGivney.
Aye.
Councilman Derland.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, resolution number 2025-42, Councilman Harrington, would you mind introducing that, please?
Resolution promoting alternate solid waste attendant, solid waste attendant, and hiring two alternate solid waste attendants. Whereas Barry Hanasek has been employed in the town of Unionville Recycling Center as an alternate solid waste attendant, and whereas the position of solid waste attendant is currently vacant due to the resignation of Mike Novak. And whereas Barry Hanasek has expressed an interest in the position of solid waste attendant and is qualified for the position. And whereas the town board of the town of Unionville is desirous of promoting Barry Hanasek to the position of solid waste attendant. And whereas the position of solid waste attendant is a full-time labor class position pursuant to the rules for the classified civil service of Dutchess County. And whereas there will be two vacancies to be filled for alternate solid waste attendant. And Mike Shelley and Vincent Murray have expressed an interest in being hired as alternate solid waste attendants and have been recommended by the recycling supervisor. And whereas the position of alternate solid waste attendant is a full-time labor class position pursuant to the rules for the classified civil service of Dutchess County. And whereas the town board is desirous of hiring Mike Shelley and Vincent Murray as alternate solid waste attendants. Now therefore be resolved as follows. The resuscitations above said are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. The town board of the town of Unionville hereby promotes Barry Hanasek to the position of solid waste attendant. Barry Hanasek shall be paid an hourly rate of $18.88 per hour at a maximum of 40 hours per week. The town board of the town of Unionville hereby hires Mike Buscelli and Vincent Murray as alternate solid waste attendants to fill in on days when regularly scheduled employees are unable to report to work. Mike Buscelli and Vincent Murray shall be paid an hourly rate of $18.88 per hour on a per diem basis. The town board hereby authorizes and directs the town supervisor and the town bookkeeper to file any and all documents necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution. Resolution shall take effect immediately.
Have a second on that, please.
I'll second.
I will start the discussion. I just want to clarify that the alternates are on a per diem basis and they don't accrue any,
Benefits.
right, they don't accrue any benefits. It's stated that they're full-time, but it is a full-time position, but it's on an as-needed
I see. Yeah.
basis. Just wanted to clarify
Okay.
that. Any other questions or discussion?
I would just like to say that Mike Novak has been there for quite a few years. He's a very willing worker. He did a great job. He knew he was doing. Every time I went over there, he was busy. He was very effective in his position, and I wish him well.
Absolutely.
He's gone.
I'll second that. Anything else?
I couldn't agree more with John. Mike's done a great job for years. He's very willing to help people and did whatever was needed to make things run smoothly there. He's having some health problems, and that's the reason why he left that position. So I wish him well.
Okay, so we've had a motion on it and a second. I guess we'll go for a roll call vote.
Aye.
Welch.
Aye.
Supervisor Frazier.
Aye.
Councilman McGivney.
Aye.
Councilman Derlin.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Brings us to vacation. correct? Okay. Actually, it's the salt shed. The paperwork didn't come together in order to get that prepared for tonight. I'd like to suggest that we table it to the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Yeah, great.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, as we mentioned earlier too, there's still some work to be done on the RD10 code changes. We have scheduled the public hearing for 7 PM on June 4. Oh, I would like to table this until that time as well.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. So that brings us to resolution 2025-39. That is the vacation amendments. Councilman Derling, would you mind introducing that, please?
Sure. Resolution number 39 of 2025, resolution amending section 4.2 vacations of the Town of Unionville Employee Handbook. Whereas section 4.2 of the Town of Unionville Employee Handbook sets forth the town's policy with respect to vacations. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Unionville wishes to amend the vacations policy in section 4.2 to include year-round part-time employees in the policy. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations above set forth are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. Section 4.2 vacations of the Town of Unionville Employee Handbook shall be amended to read as follows. 4.2 vacations. The Town of Unionville grants annual paid vacations to its full-time and part-time regular employees. Full-time is defined as 30 hours in Town Hall and all other departments are 40 hours. The number of vacation hours depends on your length of service as follows. Vacation may be taken after the first 6 months of employment with department head approval. Full-time employees and part-time employees receive 1 week of paid vacation after 1 year of service, 2 weeks after 2 years, 3 weeks of paid vacation after 5 years of service, 4 weeks after 10 years of service, and 5 weeks of paid vacation after 15 years of service. Accrual of vacation time earned shall match the hours per week worked by each employee. Years of service are determined on the anniversary date of hire. Seasonal employees and temporary employees are not eligible for paid vacation time. Time must be used by December 31st of each year. Refer to section 1.5 employee classifications for employee definitions. Vacations may be taken at any point during the year with the permission of employee's department head, but unused vacation time may not be carried over to the following year. Vacation days must be taken as whole days. In the event that a holiday observed by the Town of Unionville falls within a scheduled vacation period, full-time employees will be granted an alternate day of vacation at a later date with the approval of your department head. Vacations may be taken as weekly periods or as individual days, as long as your vacation schedule has been approved by your department head. In the event 2 employees in the same department request the same time off as earned vacation, the employee with seniority has first choice for this vacation schedule. You should submit a leave request form or make an electronic request via the town's adopted timekeeping method to your department head at least 2 weeks before the date you wish your vacation to begin. A leave request form can be found in the appendix to this employee handbook. Employees who are terminating employment with the town of Unionville for any reason other than being terminated for cause are entitled to receive payment for all accrued unused vacation time calculated on a pro rata basis, granted that they follow the termination procedure. Specifically, employees who do not give a minimum of 2 weeks' notice in a written letter of resignation will not be eligible for unused vacation time. Termination for cause can occur for actions the town considers grave misconduct. Examples of grave misconduct can be found in section 2.8 of this handbook. Employees with a hire date prior to January 1st, 2018 have been grandfathered in per resolution 18-35. This resolution will take effect immediately. A copy of this resolution shall be added and included in the town of Unionville employee handbook, and a copy of this resolution shall be distributed to all town employees and elected officials.
Okay, thank you. Have a second on that, please. Okay, any discussion? Okay, those are the same amendments that we proposed previously. So I guess we'll go to, we'll vote on that.
Councilman Harrington.
Aye.
Councilman Welsh.
Aye.
Supervisor Frazier.
Aye.
Councilman McGivney.
Aye.
Councilman Derland.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment on town issues?
Chuck Richwine, 22 on the Green, Burbank, New York. I reached out to the state DOT officials too. They have suggested that right now they are going through a patch and pray process on Route 82. What they've suggested is that we reach out to Sue Sereno's office. Sue Sereno's office can put the pressure on Albany to have work done on 82. I would suggest our elected officials each reach out to Sue Sereno to try to get 82 moved up on the list, getting repaired. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on public issue or town issues?
Someone else, I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills.
Second. Okay, I want to do a brief sidebar with the attorney for a moment.
Sure.
Just call recess for a minute and I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
Okay.
Motion for a recess, is that what you need to do?
Uh,
Are we all going?
No, it's just me.
Just you?
I want to find out if we might go across the ball.
okay,
Yeah,
just, yeah, do. a motion
Take 5.
to-
yeah, we'll be back in a moment.
Trailers.
I apologize for the delay. I wanted to do a brief discussion with the board on a couple items that came in late. I did send you an email about the hay
Oh, yeah.
offer to make hay here. I would like, yeah. We, what it is, we have some unused fields here that are getting ahead of us. And we have a local, well, actually descendant of Ray Vale, who's interested in making hay and maintaining these fields for us. I've spoken with the attorney and we can enter into a service agreement with him that he can do the hay in exchange for, yeah, the hay. And there's going to be some investment on his part, so I'd like to put together an extended service agreement with him so he can recoup those expenses. If the rest of the board is interested in doing that, I'd like to proceed with the attorney on putting that together.
Yeah, I can, if the board wants to proceed in that fashion, what I'll do is I'll look into the legalities of creating such an arrangement and if all is kosher there, then we'll start putting together some sort of service agreement or some agreement. That'll work.
I think.
we have one already?
Because it saves us
For what he
from
does.
having
that.
the town workers
Yeah,
mow those fields many more times than just 2 hay cuts.
yeah.
Just to be clear, they already do some now.
Yeah.
The same people
Right.
already do some.
Right, they do the
next door
side
there.
lot there and
Yeah.
prepare it for
provides
community
parking
day.
for
Yeah,
Big events like Bloom Festival.
Yeah.
community day.
right.
It's definitely helpful.
It's just, yeah, it's extension of what is already occurring. And I don't know that we actually have an agreement,
An actual
or
agreement.
it's just a verbal thing.
It
This,
was always verbal.
right, right. Well, this is a different times
Yeah.
today, you know?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
Especially if you're putting money into it.
Right, exactly. That's the thing. I just, the board changes. I want him to be able to continue.
Yeah, agree.
Right, absolutely. Right. Right. Okay, so, do we need to make a motion to have you?
No, just a consensus from the board that
Okay.
they're interested in pursuing
No one
that.
opposed.
He's looking to expand it. We want to make something a little more formal as an arrangement. I'll look into it.
Good, sounds
Okay,
good.
very good. We've also been approached, I sent this one out earlier today.
Yeah.
Been approached by a baseball league. I have not received his proposal yet or to learn the name of it, but apparently they're a very large league here in the Northeast. Been in existence for 12 years, very well attended. They are currently renting our Godfrey, baseball field. He's interested in making improvements there and says that it would be a, little league quality field that when they finish doing what they're doing and would like to have some compensation in the fees for it and some assurance that they'd be able to continue using the fields. Again, I'm waiting to hear his proposal on that, but it's the same situation. If there is interest of the board, I'd like to proceed with the attorney in getting this worked out to bring to a future meeting.
Do they have a lease right now, since they're actually paying?
They're doing it on a per diem with the recreation.
Okay.
Because we do have a rental policy.
Right, right.
For the fields.
Yeah, that's just so it's like a reservation. They'll go in, they'll make a reservation.
Right.
Essentially, they'll do their permits, submit their information, and then they get assigned to the field.
Right.
For whatever games they're gonna.
Right.
But in this case, they want to still practice it the same way, but they just want a concession on the rate for maintaining.
Yeah, they're willing
or
to make an
adding
investment
some
into the
investment.
fields and making them better quality
Yeah.
playing fields. He hasn't shown me what he's, thinks in way of compensation for that.
Yeah.
But I think he's more interested in being assured that he'd be able to continue the use of the fields after.
And first right, probably.
I'm sorry?
First right to use them, probably, or something.
Well, we could work out a schedule. I don't want to deny use to the residents.
Right,
We
right.
certainly will make sure that they're open to the residents, but yeah, I mean, there would be a time period where that team, and it's the way it is now, when they rent it.
Right.
It's theirs to use at that time period. We can work that out, but we want to make sure there's ample time for kids to get in there.
Sure.
and Do their thing.
There's a number of legalities with regards to running of programs and using of the fields. And these things generally can be done, but they have to be structured properly. So once we get
Yeah.
the details of what they're looking to do, we can work with that and from that and try to create something that's both legal and satisfies everybody's needs.
Yeah, and I'm aware that this has been done in other towns, something very similar. And I think at one time we were doing something similar with the soccer.
Yeah, Beekman Soccer was up on the hill.
Yeah,
I think they only
Yeah,
just
2 years.
recently.
right. Yeah, I think they improved their own fields.
Yeah.
So yeah, if the consensus of the board is to have me go further with this, and I will bring it to a future meeting when it's
Yeah.
ready.
Sounds good.
Yeah, see what they got.
I think it's a good idea. There were a number of people in that area that complained that the field was not kept up as well as it had been when they were young and played there. So if we can improve that field, make it safer, I think that's a good thing.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else? We made the motion to pay the bills, correct?
Right, yeah.
Okay, our next meeting will be June 4th. Public hearing will be at 7, business meeting at 7:30, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.